Elroy Spoonface Powell. How you doing? Welcome to the Friday Vibe at Integrity Magazine. So
I'm
good to
amazing.
have you on here.
Thank you for
We're
the
a little bit
invitation.
late. We're a little bit late because we had a bit of a technical issue, didn't we?
Did we? I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what I'm talking about either. It was my technical issue. So, happy Friday. How are you doing?
I'm amazing. And once again, I appreciate you inviting me here today. And let's have some fun. Ask me anything. Let's talk. What's going on?
Okay. Okay. So first of all, tell our viewers, tell Integrity Magazine viewers, exactly who you are, what you do, and why I've invited you on tonight.
Well,
The
I
last
help
one's tricky.
brands. Well,
Go
not at all.
on.
No, I help brands source voices for their media campaigns. So for commercials, video games, that kind of stuff. But I started in the music industry. So the first song I ever had went to #1 in the charts. And outside of that, I'm a consultant, I'm an author, and I help people sort of find their ultimate selves, shall we say.
Okay.
And I'm loving it. I'm loving being free to create my own universe, just make things happen my way.
So how do you help people find themselves? In what do you do specifically to help people find themselves?
Well, specifically, people have been coming to me around just voice and getting more visible online so that they can build their businesses. I run two courses recently that really made a difference for people. One of them being obviously the voice course, which I call MEPS. MEPS your process, mindset, equipment, practice, PR, sales. And outside of that, it's been a pleasure helping people just getting more visible. When I talk about visibility and we talk about social media, I found that people over 50 running business have really been struggling, uncomfortable, maybe lost their confidence, don't really know how to work with the technology. So I've said, look, it's okay, it's natural. You're not doing it every day. You've been doing other things. But the great thing is you've been running business for 10, 20, 30 years or more. Use those skills, find your passion and align that with creating a solution for people, and lead with that when you're talking, when you're sharing, when you're online, and all the technical bits you can figure out on the way. And the more you do it, the better you get. So I've been running a course, and I have a brand new course available for a limited time, which I'll talk about a bit later.
Yeah.
But primarily it's about finding yourself, getting more confident with becoming more visible, aligning yourself with the right kind of tribe of people, and that's been exciting.
So you use the word passion, and
Yeah.
I'm a great believer and so are a lot of motivational speakers, inspirational speakers, etc., about inspiring people to find their passion and doing what they really are passionate about for their job, career, or even just something part-time, something they can build up. How important do you think it is finding your passion in kind of a creative or workplace environment?
It's so important. It should really be the foundation of why you do anything. Your why, your purpose, your passion. When you figure that out, it means those days when you feel like just staying in bed and not doing anything, you might get out and do something, because that's really what it's about. It's about consistency. And passion and purpose, it helps fuel that energy, that drive to get things done, for sure.
Absolutely. Let's take you back to June 2000 June 2000.
Let's go
Okay,
back. Let's
because
go way back.
let's go way back. So the reason I'm taking you back there is because something huge and momentous happened to you as an artist, as a singer, on that particular in that particular month. So it's like, oh, just over 20 years ago, what happened?
I had my first commercial release go to #1 in the charts, which at the time meant doing Top of the Pops and
Yeah.
touring and all that kind of stuff. But I'd like to go a little bit before that, because before that I was a struggling student. Really, no one knew me, and I was having a hard time. Lots of family issues. I grew up in North London, in Tottenham, and my parents are of Jamaican heritage. And I actually grew up in a very hostile home, a home full of love, but full of domestic violence. And
Mm.
outside of the house, there was also this very racist kind of late 80s or mid 80s, I should say, Britain,
Mm.
where the racism was a lot more overt, whereas now it's more sort of interwoven into the fabric of society in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot to take on board, a lot to think about in terms of carving your way, in terms of some kind of direction and what you want from life. And so I wanted to be a lawyer. Very much justice was what was really important to me, and being able to help my family and to help the people around me. And then a couple of years into my law degree, a dear friend of mine, Lisa Millett, said, "Hey, I'm going to Italy. There's some guys out there need someone with a voice like yours to re-vocal this song, because Barry White won't give permission to do it." And I thought, I need some money to pay some bills right now. Let's figure out this whole thing. So I was just happy to go do a session, come back to London, and that be the end of it. I went out there, did it, came back, and they were like, "Hey, we need you to do Top of the Pops and interviews on breakfast TV and all this kind of stuff." I didn't have anyone to talk to about all this kind of stuff. I don't know what's going
Yeah.
on. I just sort of said, okay, let's do it, and just immerse myself, just threw myself in and went for it. And that was the beginning of my career in the entertainment industry. I mean, now I'm acting and doing, I'm voice acting, also doing voiceovers and so on, and running my own agency and helping others connect in that world through consultancy and coaching. But that's where it started. That really was a massive turning point for sure.
What was it like then, having this sudden fame? Everyone wanted to have a piece of you. Everyone wanted to talk to you. People were writing about you. I mean, because we know that that's what happens, right? When people they go through Britain's Got Talent or the X Factor and so on, and suddenly they're famous, and everyone wants to get to know them, and everyone wants a piece of them, and it's quite difficult, isn't it, to adjust to that and to get your head around. What was it like for you back in those heady days of 2000 when everyone wanted to know who you were?
I was young, so I was full of all this energy to do anything. Like nothing was impossible, and it still isn't. But just that juice that you have when you're at that age,
Yeah.
and when it's all new, it's exciting. It's like a kid in a candy store. You're just like, yeah, okay, great, let's go with it. So actually, took about 10 years or something after for me to really process what was happening. But it was a full-on whirlwind of events, a real heavy schedule of, again, like I said, interviews and meeting people and performances, different parts of Europe and so on. So my feet hardly touched the ground a lot of the time. It was just
What were the
fast.
best points and the worst points during that time? What would you say was the greatest, joy of it all? Because that's what, everyone who wants to be famous, these bands, these singers, they want that, don't they? They really want to feel that. What was the best point and what was the worst point?
So I wrote a book called How to Think Beyond the Chart Position, 100 Things I Wish Someone Told Me Before I Got Involved. But yeah, I think that there were some great highs and lows, and all of them, I love them because they're my cherished, amazing experiences that really inform my decisions now. The great thing was that realization that anything is possible. Like seriously, like I came from a working class family, with drive and determination and encouragement to be the best that I could be, but you don't realize it until you have it in your hands. Like, oh my gosh, it's real. You can actually achieve anything if you really work hard and crack on with it in a smart way. And so yeah, the highs were just that realization, recognizing it's possible. The challenges were the expectations. So then everybody expected me to be Barry White for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
There was lots of bits of politics with record labels and other bands that I was in and all this kind of stuff. And so I had to really stop for a moment, hit rock bottom, had to start from scratch, from zero, like going back to sleeping on my mum's floor. And then with all of that experience, go, well, how am I going to do this differently? What do I actually enjoy doing? Where's my passion? Why am I doing it? And once I started to really zone it back and reel it back to what matters in that sense, it really became apparent. And this, going through lockdown recently, is perfect. So a lot of people have been saying to me, well, how did you find lockdown? Were you having a hard time? I'm like, well, I've actually been through that before, many a time.
Yeah.
Before the entertainment industry, growing up, not having money, not being certain about what the future is going to be like and so on. If you come from a working class family, or you know what that's like. So, and that just means, hey, we got to adjust, adapt, be flexible and think of a new way to move forward. And this is life, and this is how humanity has always done it, right? But taking it back to the experience with Black Legend and that whole thing, there were a lot of unknowns, and so now, where it would normally make you fearful and afraid, I embrace it and think, well, where are we going to go now? What can we do to make the most of this? And actually, a real sense of gratitude kicks in, because you realize you're alive and it's not over, and you can take a breath and then figure out a way to proceed.
Don't you find that, because I also had a difficult childhood and I've had lots of struggle, and it's almost been preparing me for the last 4 months of, dexterity and, austerity, not dexterity, I meant austerity. Dexterity, that's very flexible stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, we need some of that, though. Definitely need some of that.
Yes, but it prepared me, but a lot of people haven't had that. And it must have been a real kick up the backside for them, because they just weren't used to having to watch their pennies, to not be going out every night, to, somebody's, it was a producer that I know, he said, wow, my Amex bill was 0 for months. And he wasn't used to that, because he was always going out to the Groucho Club, to this posh Soho, restaurant, treating clients, treating people, spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds a month on entertaining, and suddenly his Amex bill was 0. So we're used to it. It must be very, very difficult if you've never had that training almost from childhood, and all those dark spaces that we look back on that actually were really helping us along the way. It must be very difficult.
Yeah, and at the time when you're going through those challenges, it's not so nice, and wish they weren't happening. But definitely a lot to draw from that has served me so well during these times. For example, the biggest one has been being the voice of Black Legend, selling millions, being a very present kind of figure as this particular thing, as this product, and then having to step out and say, well, actually, I don't want to do that, and I don't want to do it like that. Yeah, I have a voice, but I want to sing my way. I want to sing when I want to sing. And actually, I'd much prefer to go and do an animation or something else. And to be able to say that, and the freedom it gives you, has been really empowering for me. And so that's another thing I encourage people to do, is like, we're only alive for such a short time, really. We don't know how long we're going to be alive for. Without being too morbid about it, we don't know that, but the only thing that is guaranteed is that we are going to die. So what we're going to do in the meantime? And so I kind of just make the most of recognizing all of that, and when things maybe don't go the way I perceive them to be, or how I want them to go, I go, okay, maybe that's happened for a reason. What can I learn from it? What can I extract and go and do something else and keep it moving? Let go of the stress around it all.
So what did you discover was your passion after Black Legend? What was it?
Oh, I love acting. I love voice acting. I love helping people. I love martial arts. I did a lot of martial arts as a young person. A lot of Taekwondo, my Mudo Kwan family. How you doing? And then that evolved into me doing things, some Chow Gar Mantis. And I absolutely love Gracie Jiu-Jitsu at the moment with Professor Eddie Cohen at EKBJJ. So I'm very much into that, and I'll tell you why. With Gracie Jiu-Jitsu especially, and all of the martial arts that I've done have been so challenging and helped really with my character. But you may be on the floor with someone much larger than you, and you're feeling like you're in a box with everything closing in, and you face yourself. Every time you go to a session, you have to do what they call sparring or rolling. And that person's job is to full pelt, try and choke you or submit you, make you tap out. And when you survive that, when you face yourself, you look in that mirror and you have to ask yourself, who are you? Why are you here? How are you going to breathe and get through the situation? And then you start to see it transfer to your everyday life. It's a powerful, special thing. Powerful process.
I was actually black belt Shotokan karate, and I was British champion, and I went to the World Championship. So yeah, I totally get it. That was a long time ago in another life. So You're known as the voice guy. Is that because of the voice artistry that you do, or is it for something else?
Well, it's because of all the work I've been doing in the voice industry. Currently, the voice of Switch Guarantee, and I've done a number of commercials and other projects, and I love it. I love the industry. I love the people in the industry. I love that I'm able to use my voice. And, you know, I really promote creating multiple streams of income. So that's one of the many things that I do. But I love being able to use my gift in a way that serves people.
And you starred with The Rock recently, didn't you, in Fighting with the Family?
Yeah.
Oh, I love The Rock. We love him as a family.
Everybody loves The Rock. You know
Yeah.
what? I had a great time on that production, Fighting with My Family. I think it hit #1 at the box office when it came over to the UK, and it's been doing so well. And like people like Nick Frost and others on the crew even were just a treat to work with, you know. So and of course the director Stephen Merchant, lovely. So it's been a phenomenal experience, and again that came from me saying, okay, I like music, I like Black Legend, I like all of this stuff, but what do I want to have fun doing? And so I ended up going the long way round. So I started off doing things like walking up and down to cast a shadow into where the action was happening. As a supporting artist, and then eventually got into being a market trader on EastEnders, and then a few fight scenes and commercials and other bits, and then things like Fighting My Family and Star Wars and all this kind of stuff. And so it's been a bit of a journey. For me, it's never always been a straight road to anything, but I love that. I love the experience. I love the people I've met along the way. And
how did you get the role there? How did you get that Fighting with the Family role? My
agent just sent me this weird casting, and I sort of did this self-tape, not thinking much of it, and then they got back very quickly and said, hey, okay, we want you to do it. And it was fantastic. Brilliant project.
And what have you got lined up in terms of acting coming up?
So just before lockdown, I can't say too much about it. I had a few projects that had to close, and now they're opening back. My agent's been in touch, and I'm really looking forward to getting on set later this year. And there'll probably be a few things that will start to emerge closer to the end of the year and next year that I've been involved in. So yeah, it's been, there's some lovely bits going on.
And during lockdown, you were always up on Facebook. You were doing meditation and stories and challenges, and it was just lovely to see you. I mean, I was writing a book, so I couldn't get involved in virtually anything that anyone was doing on Facebook for about 5 weeks, but I had to be head down for hours and hours. But I saw them. I saw you guys pop up, and sometimes I click in and click out. So you kept people motivated, encouraged, inspired, lots of people along the way, not just your friends, but anyone really. You kind of left it public, didn't you? So anyone could kind of join in. So are you going to carry that on? Are you going to carry that inspiration on?
Yeah, I feel I've always been the type of guy that, I'm happy to inspire, encourage, and share and learn from people also, so I can also be encouraged and inspired. I love that I'm also on a journey of learning and growth, and it's never ending. No. And this whole Ready for Dreams project started because me and some of the roster from my voice agency, Spoon's Voices, we kind of did these sleep stories, and I recorded them, made the book available on Amazon and so on. And I thought, okay, let me start a group to share these stories and maybe just do some live readings. So I started to read every week a few stories from the book, and people really liked them. And I thought, oh, great. And then a friend of mine knew of a charity in Singapore that needed someone to do something similar or offer something to help their community. So I then started weekly doing these readings for Blessings in a Bag, based in Singapore, reading stories, doing progressive muscle relaxations. And then I started to make YouTube videos. I thought, let me just put all of these things in something people can watch at any time. And so this is something now that I love doing. It's just fun. It's just fun to research and explore and look at how people are being mindful in all sorts of ways when it comes to romantic relationships, preparing for work, building confidence, nutrition, looking after themselves, family, everything. And just keep making videos with my own personal slant and a little balance of, you know, science behind it all as well.
And do you give these out for free, or do you subscribe, or do you pay to watch your videos?
I do all of it. So I make sure that there's a healthy amount that's free, because I want people to connect with it and you know, get some use for it in their situation, and to filter and limit how much, because I just end up giving. I don't want to deplete myself. So I have a few things in place. You can have a one-to-one with me, or you can subscribe and enter a private group and so on, just to keep things balanced.
Wow, you're a busy guy. You're busy, man.
Yeah, but it's enjoyable, you know. And as I said, I love learning. I love sharing, and how I feel enriched learning from other people. So on this journey of mindfulness and growth.
Who inspires you? Who are your you know, we all have role models, right? So who are yours?
Yeah.
Who do you, when you need a bit of inspiration, who do you flick on you know, which YouTube do you flick on, or which Audible do you flick on?
It's such an interesting question, you know. Like I always say, my mom is my inspiration, because, like I said, growing up, I see her go through a lot of challenges, and she always found a way to smile, to help others, to be positive and keep going. And that's really formed the foundation for me in a lot of ways. And then outside of that, I love checking out people like Gary Vee, Tony Robbins, Lisa Nichols.
Yeah, I love Lisa Nichols.
Yeah, people like that. Even a bit of Brené. But I kind of recently got drawn into watching a lot of the Red Table Talks with Jada and Will.
Oh, I've seen some of those. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really loved the Father's Day special that they did, and like little things where Will was talking about when Jaden was doing the film, the Karate Kid film in China, and he would, for a period of time, because his older son was playing football, American football, he would go every week to the USA from China to support his son, and then go back and then support his other son with. And I thought that's phenomenal. And why that's really important for me is because, especially coming out of a lot of the race relation discussions, there's often this myth that specifically Black fathers are absent and they're not supporting. And the point is that there are a lot of fathers, irrespective of backgrounds, that are not there for the children, and mothers also, and so on. But it was just great to see and hear someone say, these are the efforts that I made to be there for my son, my children, my family.
Will Smith is he's a bit of he's my eye candy, which is crazy thing to say, I know, but yeah, he is. He's my eye candy, but just because I think I love his intelligence. His film, he is my favorite actor anyway, but I love his intelligence. I've watched him throughout the years. Yeah, I am a bit of a fan of his, big time. What's it called? What's his film with his son? It's gone off the top of my head. You know the one.
Oh,
really
the one.
sad one. What's it called?
That actually did.
I watch it all the time.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but actually didn't do too well at the box office, did it?
I watch it all the time, and it's just gone from my head.
I think it was great. He did a film with his son. I don't think it even matters where it went. He'd done a film with your son. Got to spend all of that quality time with. It's amazing.
It was just a beautiful film anyway, and it will come to me. And I mean, the only thing I can think of in my head right now is Hancock, and that is so far away from it. But anyway, I make my kids watch that film, and it's gone. It's just gone from my head. Anyway, so moving on from that. So we know you're the voice guy, and you also, don't you introduce a radio station? Is it Magic? Is it Magic?
No,
I can't remember.
You maybe heard my voice on mainstream radio, introducing things. Again, as a voice actor, I've been asked to do a number of different jobs in a number of different places. And I love it. I love the industry, as I say, and I'll be doing so much more. I have a project I put together called Love Jumps, and it explores the relationship between two characters, Jeff and Danny. And we got nominated for an Audio Production Award last year. And so we'll be making some more of that. And it's comedy. It's just some fun, using voice. And I love that kind of thing. It allows me to be creative and, again, use what I have, use my gifts.
How easy is it to get into the voiceover industry?
It's not. It's really hard.
I can imagine. Especially right now, because people, especially actors, they're looking for, or maybe, I don't know, script writers or just about anyone really in the industry who's looking for a different income stream that they can do from home, right? Then I can imagine it's quite in demand at the moment.
Yeah, you know, there's two sides to it, and this is just my personal opinion, just me, you know, my thoughts. There's a high barrier to entry because you need the equipment and you need the skills, and
Mm.
so actors will have the raw sort of acting skill, and I think that's where the industry's leaning towards a lot more because, like you said, anyone can just get the equipment now as long as you have the money.
Yeah.
But can you connect with the words well enough to align with the message that your client's audience is about? You know, can you connect with your client's audience? Can you express? Can you deliver? Can you connect? And that takes a lot of skill and practice over time. So it is possible, of course, but I think with a certain mindset and process, you can get on your way. And that's what I talk about, and that's how I help my clients and people that want to get into that industry. And I'm very honest about how long it may potentially take.
Mm. And how
You
long
know,
does it take? How long
well,
does it
this is
take from train?
exactly
But
how long does it?
how long?
I'm not when I say that, I mean it's not going to be like, yeah, just do a course and off you go. What I do say is there's a process, and if it's as quick as the effort you put into it. You know what I mean? So some people often sign up for courses and not apply themselves. But if you're out there making your calls, connecting with people every day, practicing scripts, developing your ability to connect with text, and so on, and then also becoming more visible, making people aware that you can create a solution for them with
Yeah.
consistency, so they trust you, then you can make it happen. And this is
Yeah.
just my approach and my opinion.
And how what's the kind of minimum that you would have to spend, whether it be a course or the equipment? What would you say to somebody like a student or something, they wanted to get into voiceover artistry? Because at the moment, you know, it's very difficult, the film industry,
Yeah.
TVs, commercials, etc., with all the, you know, the high risk and so on. So and the regulations. They're looking, maybe they're a 25, 30-year-old looking to get into voiceover artistry. What would kind of be the outlay that they would be looking at for
So
anyone who's listening?
yeah, so I think initially the cost of a decent computer and the software, so you can get that audio working for you, a solid microphone. I wouldn't necessarily say run out and get soundproofing straight away, but you need something, space in your house that is dead and it's not going to give any kind of reverberation and so on when you record. But then you may have to get some treatment. A good pop shield, or even a portable booth might be useful. So the money for that. So easily you're spending at least £500-600 on that, excluding the computer, depending what you get, if you get a Mac or a PC and so on. And then outside of that, you're gonna need a voice reel, a solid voice reel that shows how you connect with the demographic that your voice lends itself best to. And I spent easily about 350 quid on my first voice reel, and I did several. So I did a commercial reel and a character reel to start with, and so I spent
Yes.
like £700-700 on voice reels before I'm even like hitting up clients and so on. So like I said, there's a high barrier to entry, but when you get it right and you show that you can deliver, it can really work for you.
Obviously, commercial voiceover artistry pays really well, but when you get into animation, because my daughter, she's 18 today, and last night we all watched her favorite film, Moana, which obviously stars Dwayne Johnson as Maui. I don't know if you've seen the film, but he's Maui, the demigod, and he sings in it, and I just love it. It's brilliant. We all love it, and that pays really well for actors, doesn't it? You know, the animation side pays really well.
Yeah, equally though, a lot of those productions, they're looking for people that already have a very established presence in the acting world, because then it's easier to sell the project. So if you're new to voiceover, unless you know someone, you got some links, you're not going to jump straight from being new to
No.
doing Moana. You know what I mean?
But it's
So,
the penultimate. It's a goal, isn't it? It's a goal for a voiceover artist to get
oh,
there.
absolutely. What I would suggest is you could sign up to what they call pay-to-play sites, the right ones, and then also my favorite thing is to just build your own client base. But that's going to mean 25 calls a week minimum, 100 calls a month, So you get 2 or 3 people say, yeah, okay. And that's what you're doing for the whole year until you know, a few years until you get a solid group of people into you and then refer you because they trust that you can deliver. So build your own client base. Try everything, but build your own client base is my personal approach to it. And you're going to be doing things like YouTube videos, corporate, little things. But those little things add up. You're doing 5 little things that pay you $250 a time. You know,
Exactly.
over time you can build a real career from it. So, and that's why I say multiple streams of income is so important. And I go off and do other things so I'm not relying on just the one thing. But also because it's boring. Like I want to live a life of, you know, variety and fun and so on.
You do have fun, Spoon, don't you?
In my own way, I guess.
In your own way. Right. Because we're coming to the end of this. There's 2 things I want to ask you. First of all, plug yourself. So if anyone wants to know more about your courses, about what you do, if they want to get in contact with you, because obviously you're a very experienced guy, how do they get hold of you?
So as we come out of lockdown, I'm limiting my availability for certain things. All my productions are opening up and I'm getting back to acting and all sorts of stuff. So for a limited time, check out thesuccesstips.com, where you can subscribe to a couple of things that allow you access to me in a mastermind session, answering all your questions, access to the courses, whether it's voiceover or using social media to get more visible, to push your business. So thesuccesstips.com, and that will take you there. And you can also find me for one-to-one sessions. But as I say, I'm really limiting that because I'm more busy now. I'm always kind of like doing stuff, but now things are opening up. Everyone's in a rush to get back on what they were doing, and like spoon, which is great. I'm not complaining. It's great, and I'm excited about it. But in terms of what I can do to help people, I'm have to be very careful to not deplete myself, and also to make sure that I like to make sure that I can really give the value that people want. So it's only fair that I do it that way too.
No, that's fair enough. And if they want to buy your book, How to Think Beyond a Chart Position, where can they buy it?
Just jump on Amazon. It's there. How to Think Beyond the Chart Position. You'll find it.
Okay, excellent. And one last thing, because as you know, we're Integrity Magazine. In your best, sexiest Friday vibe voice, what is integrity? You got to give me this answer in your sexiest voice, over voice. What does integrity mean to you?
Integrity means I love myself, I rise above and conquer all challenges.
Amen. Amen to that. Thank you so much, Elroy Spoonface Powell, or Spoon the Voice Guy. Thank you so much for joining us on Integrity Magazine. Do share away to all your friends, and good luck with all your projects coming up. You've been an amazing guest. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Take care.
Take care. Bye.